All right, EVM. So this is my second time recording this, so I might be a little bit impatient, but please, uh, let's enjoy EVM together. So, 5 A's of EVM. What is evidence-based medicine? We're basically asking a question and then trying to get an answer through research, right? Uh, Asking a question is going to be the first part here. So, let me think of a question. So, say I have a patient who has acute bronchitis. I'm trying to think about, if I give them antibiotics, would that reduce sputum production? How do I convert that into an answerable question that I can put into these databases and then get out an answer? We want 5 key things that we need to satisfy. We want our patient population, our intervention, comparator, and outcome, and the type of study that we're looking for. So patient population, since our patient has acute bronchitis, we want patients with acute bronchitis. So that's a descriptor, any characteristic of the patient, and then intervention is what we do to the patient, so drugs or surgery, or it can be some indicator of the patient. In intervention is what we uh, normally what we see. So, for example, in patients with acute bronchitis, do antibiotics. So that's going to be our I here. Comparator control, so that's something that we can compare to. So if I had a placebo here, I would say do antibiotics compared to a placebo or compared to no intervention, blah, 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 blah. Outcome, reduce sputum production. That's what I'm looking at, right? So, uh, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So it'd be do antibiotics compared to placebo, reduce sputum production. And then I can filter for the type of study in my database. Okay, question types. So there's 5 main question types. Typically, the way we want to use this table is if I have a question, I want to think about um, which category that question lies into in these 5 categories, and consequently, how I can how I'm meant to structure my question to ask. Now that we have a question to ask and we know what category it falls into, next thing is to access that information. So accessing information is through research. Typically, Ovid Medline is our first stop, since it's pretty comprehensive, and we've got a lot of different databases to search, right? In terms of searching databases, each database is going to be slightly different, um, but some of the searching strategies remain the same. So using keywords and truncating them. So for example, if I use this hash and I do pregnant hash, that's going to give me results for both pregnancy and pregnant. So it's like it truncates it, so it fills in anything here. We can use Boolean operators, so that's and or. So for example, if I'm looking at, if my question ask is, do pregnant patients who smoke have a increased risk of sudden infant death syndrome, or something like that. I might have phrased that wrong, but that's basically what I'm trying to ask, right? So I've got these things, uh, and then what I do is I basically um, put ands in between things that are part of the question, and ors for synonyms or things that are meant to get the idea. So I want smoking, but maybe the article will use cigarettes instead. So I want to capture the article. So if there's an article which is what I want, if it specifically talks about cigarettes, that's what I wanted when I meant smoking. So I can use or to broaden my search. And yeah, don't get too fussed about how to search Ovid Medline. Uh, Back when we lent it last year, we didn't really go into too much depth, and we are learning it currently in third year, in depth about specifically using databases, how to use databases, and all that goes into it. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.